Hi, I'm Sharon Bell from the BayNet. It is the middle of election season 2018. And with me today is Brian Crosby, candidate, Maryland House of Delegates, District 29B. He is with the Democratic Party. How are you today, Brian?
I'm well. Yourself, Sharon?
Good, good. Brian has a commitment and service and devotion to his community. He has developed some key initiatives that we will discuss today. What are your key initiatives, Brian?
So our platform is three things, and it's getting back to basics. First is education. Second is infrastructure within the community. And third is ultimately economic diversity and trying to A, protect the base, and B, bridge the gap between the two economies that exist right here in our community. The 80% that I've said is on Pax River, and then that other 20% that comprises the rest of our community.
So there's a lot of problems in our community with the traffic. It just gets really backed up. There's problems at 4 and 235. There's another problem at Great Mills Road and 5. There's a few different bottlenecks that we have around our community. What do you think we should try to do with relieving some of that?
So a couple things. It's a great question. It's the number one issue I think on many people in my district's minds. Transportation is clearly an issue, and we've clearly as a county outpaced our infrastructure plan. 5 and Great Mills is the top priority for us in the short term. So I do this commute twice a day. I feel your pain. I understand. Sometimes it could take 4, 5, 6 lights to get through if you're traveling north on Route 5. So in the interim, the first thing we could do is the little cement concrete, I guess, divider. Nobody's really sure why it exists. That is on Great Mills as you travel towards 5 from the base. We can eliminate that and allow traffic to back up all in the left-hand lane and allow traffic to continue to flow in the right and go north. I realize that that is not going to solve everything. The next thing is beginning to put forth a plan to expand that bridge that is just past Sheets, in between Sheets and the post office. So really we could have 2 lanes that travel in both directions, because you have essentially 3 lanes that funnel into 1 right there, and it can't be expanded because the bridge can't support an additional lane. So that is a top priority, making sure that we expand that bridge right there so the infrastructure exists so that we can ultimately put additional lanes in there to funnel the traffic further up and hopefully alleviate some of that pressure off the intersection. Now, the bridge. There was a plan put in place, or a study put in place, in 2013. It ultimately was completed in 2015. It was a $532 million plan that put an additional bridge 75 meters south. It did have bike lanes, and it was 2 lanes into Calvert and 2 lanes into St. Mary's. The bridge is slated for major resurfacing in 2028. So that is going to have to close and be resurfaced. At the moment, there is no plan to essentially,
What are you going to do in the interim?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like there's no plan there to figure out, what are we going to do in the short term? So it's vital that we get that additional bridge going, so that way, we have that up and running. We can close the Thomas Johnson Bridge, major resurface, and then reopen it similar to the Bay Bridge. 2 lanes in the morning, 2 lanes out in the evening. And it gives people, an opportunity to bike across, walk across this additional bridge over into Calvert County.
So 2028, it's scheduled for resurfacing?
It is.
And so we have to figure out a plan before then. How long do you think that will be closed? 3 years maybe?
I wouldn't even begin to speculate. But I don't know if they would have to close everything all at once, or they could close 1 lane.
Even if you close 1, it's a nightmare.
Yes. And as far as I've seen, and I've driven up north to talk to people about this, the only plan that they have to mitigate it is a ferry system.
I was told by Steve that there is no plan, and it would be a disaster.
That is a fair statement.
So
there's bipartisan agreement there.
Yeah. So so as far as I know, there is not a plan to deal with traffic when that happens.
Yeah.
So we do need to do something for sure. That's right around the corner.
It is, and transportation is not just, you know, vehicles. I mean, there are other aspects to this, you know, which concern safety. Uh, you know, the clog at all or the choke points at all of these intersections are a risk to police, fire, rescue squads. I mean, if somebody has a heart attack, you want the paramedics to get there as fast as possible. And, you know, this congestion really risks your safety. The second thing is kind of looking at it from a broader perspective is bringing a transportation system here to the rural counties, a public transportation system to the rural counties that actually works for us. I think one unique study, and I've read a lot of reports on it, and I'd be curious to see how it works here, is a publicly funded Uber system. So instead of investing $400,000 into a bus that is about a tenth of the way full, you know, we purchase an Expedition, and then that Expedition can run point to point, pick people up and drop them off at their doors, and you know, you can get 4, 5, 6 passengers in there all at once,
Right.
go to and from, and it alleviates the burden because the county and the state, you know, could ultimately sync those routes if you know where you have to go. I mean, Uber is done on an algorithm. Why
Right.
can't we bring that efficiency on the ground and offer our people a service ultimately to make it
And
more efficient?
it would be publicly funded, so it would be economical for those that might typically take a bus.
I truly think that we could do this at the same. I mean, what's STS cost? $1? Why can't you charge the same for this
Well, that's what I mean.
route?
Right.
Yeah, and your initial costs are cheaper because you don't have to purchase the bus for 400 grand. An Expedition costs 60, so you can get, you know, 4 of these, 5 of these Expeditions, probably double the allocation or utilization. Double the utilization of these services, and ultimately, I think it would be cheaper and more effective.
Probably would be, for sure. That actually sounds like a really good idea. Well, thank you for joining us today. Is there anything else that you would like to tell our viewers?
No, look, this has been an humbling and fun 2 years going around and listening to all of you for your solutions. And, you know, I know that we have a lot of problems, but I'm confident if we work together, regardless of party, we can make this happen. So I just want to thank each and every one of you.
Again, this is Brian Crosby. He is a candidate in the Maryland House of Delegates, District 29B. Make sure you get out and vote November 6th.